Beast monsters in the Dragon Quest series often depicted as either common animals or as a form of beastmen. In this run, I will be attempting to do a playthrough of Dragon Quest monsters, the Dark Prince, using only monsters of the beast family with lots of cats. As usual, my script is written as I go along with the story, meaning I have no idea what is going to happen in advance while I am writing this. The rules are as follow. Only members of the beast family, no duplicate monsters, only food items allowed in battle, no training dungeon, DLC chest, or online shop. Since I decided to remove the training dungeon and barely ever use the other online functions, I decided that I would simply not use them. Meaning the only DLC left is the mole hole. Yes, it's also because I hate being taken out of the game to approve their damn policy that hasn't changed for over 2 years. I unlock one new monster rank every 2.5 chapters and one synthesis for each party members per rank unlocked. Starting the run, I go straight for the Platypunk, though the game tried tricking me into taking the Mud Mannequin. Funny game. Construct run will likely be the hardest run of them all, so don't expect me to do it until much later, like final challenge. Anyway, I name my Platypunk Platypus. You'll never guess its final form. If you do, you'll get some monster quibbles. Straight away, I scout a feral ball. I have no idea for a name. I will come back later for the other names. I then follow up with the following scouts: Bunnycorn and Guzzler. And Mischievous Mole. After reaching levels 7 and 8, I am confident my party is ready, so here are my stats. We have Platypus the Platypunk, Fluffy the Feral Ball, Behemoth the Bunnycorn, Grinder Enjoyer the Guzzler, and Tanuki the Mischievous Mole. There are also 3 more party members, but those are placeholders not meant for combat usage. I easily completed ranks G and F using the exact same party, so save time, here are the F ranks finals and the only close fight. Having now finished the Colosseum, I now have unlocked Makai's Circle of Conquest, and given no beasts are available, I go straight for the Molosseum G rank, which I easily destroy. With this, I have now unlocked F rank monsters, but before doing synthesis, here are the 2 final party members: Charlotte and Perla, named after my own little beasts of darkness. And now for synthesis. You will see the names of all party members on the screen with their remaining synthesis. Charlotte starts at 0 because the Great Saber Cub can only be obtained through synthesis at this point in the game. Now, I only have 1 synthesis at this point in the game, Tanuki, that I turn into a popping badger, even though it is clearly a Tanuki. After having everyone catch up to level, here are my stats before the boss. Silly Bernie was an extremely easy fight, what with all party members resistant to fire attacks, which was the elemental's strongest attack, and to make matters worse, I would keep lowering his defenses, making the crushing even easier. Raph is next, and did not like how we stopped his attempt at charming Duffer through Stockholm Syndrome by imprisoning him. But by the end, after Grinder Enjoyer broke down his defenses, he realized that even though he was not yet a bear, Grinder Enjoyer was actually his type. Unfortunately for him, Grinder Enjoyer was more of a bear lover himself, breaking Raph's heart beyond repair. This is followed by the Molosseum's F and E ranks that I crush with such ease. I am starting to wonder whether beasts might surpass slimes. Either way, the clip you are looking at are the E ranks finals. With the options given to me, I decided to start with Percival this time. The fight went very well. Though he landed one heavy blow at the start of the fight, then in case Diesel Gleam made him miss most attacks, all the while the other three pounce on him, reducing his defenses and attack. With this, I now have 5 chapters beaten, unlocking one more synthesis and E-rank monsters. First, I synthesized Behemoth to a spiked hair, Fluffy to a rotten cotton, Grinder Enjoyer to Ursa Major, Perla to Meowgician. So after synthesizing these party members, I went on to collect fodder for future synthesis, and these are the resulting stats. Yes, I kind of lost track and went overboard. So what I will do is, I'll give myself a temporary restriction. I cannot go to the middle echelons until I at least defeat a roaming boss. Don't worry, it is not the Cyclops. I have a specific one in mind. Now, it goes without saying the 2 following bosses were very easy. I was overleveled after all, so I will not waste your time. Now, at this point, I have unlocked the rank monsters and one more synthesis per party members. But first, I want to see if I can defeat the roaming boss with my party as is. And the roaming boss is Green Dragon. Of course, it was always going to be him. Green Dragon is one of my favorite monsters who marked my childhood, as I played the very first Dragon Quest again and again, because I had a very small pool of games to play with. As for the fight, you might have noticed, but yes, I forgot to heal before starting the fight. Then I proceeded to blind him. Yeah, the fight was pretty much over the moment he was blinded turn 1. No matter how many breath attack you use, big guy, you lost. Matters were only worsened when I then lowered his attack and defenses. He was toasted and cooked. Multiple attempts later, I managed to recruit the Green Dragon. Yes, this is why I wanted to fight it, and doing so allowed me to figure out a few things. Roaming bosses, as you may know, will reject all food, but from my attempts, I found out they will refuse food only until they accept food once, and they only accept a certain quality of food, which mystery meat is one of them if you get a maximum roll. From there, they will accept any food, even the lowest qualities. With this done, here is why Green Dragon was so important. Yes, a giant Charlotte. Diabolic Owl is next, and the Welcome Committee really needs to be replaced. They sucked. General Shando did last a few turns and hurt, but was still crushed using automated combat. Finally reaching the middle echelons, we begin by destroying Darius. Something never changed no matter the challenge, it seems. And Darius, being a useless weakling, is one of them. I wish I could say differently about Ash, but in the end he is still nothing but a dumb, useless lizard. While I did give orders the whole fight, I'm fairly certain I could have done the fight automated without any issues. It was not until I fought Pitrak that I finally had somewhat of a challenge, though it was partly out of luck when his thwack worked once, and his highly damaging spells that he would often forget to use in place of thwack, who pretty much always miss, and spell reflect, even after Perla went down. In summary, he lost because he's a fucking idiot. With this, I now have 10 chapters completed, meaning one more synthesis and C-rank monsters unlocked. First is Behemoth, who received a dye job to become a dark hare, and fed a king slime to my platypus. Now he is all chopped up and has a cute little crown. The Three Stooges were an embarrassment, so let's instead skip to the next boss. The Cane Custodian proved a bit harder this time, mainly due to me targeting her instead of the ass who would apply status effects, losing me my front row. Though he had access to many status effects, Clodo is, as usual, a coward hiding behind his 2 guards and countless statuses. Once the guards are out of the way, he becomes a useless coward not even worth turning into cat quibbles. Ludo follows, and to be honest, I was expecting the little twink to actually give me a challenge, but he did not, and that all the while making some non-optimal choices like having Behemoth use Nature Nerfer when a common attack would do more damage. With this, I have now 12 chapters over, meaning one more synthesis for my party members and B rank unlock. Now, if you look at the amount of syntheses performed, yes, I am at 60. Many of them were to obtain the synthesis fodders for my party, which I do not count as it would otherwise be impossible to keep track of. We start off by giving Perla a nice cleaning because clearly that white dust in her fur doesn't help. Next, it is time to give Charlotte a bath to remove the Cheetos dust in her fur. I had to use a whole waterfall because she's a very big kitty. We then give Grinder Enjoyer the latest Grinder update and Wi-Fi. We then feed Behemoth with mushrooms until it loses all its hair. At this point, we are approaching the upper echelon and much harder fights, so here are my party stats after getting them back to level. White World is the next boss, and he proved to not be that much of a threat. Even though he proved smart enough to take out Perla because of her massive amounts of damage. He was too slow as she and Charlotte had dealt too much damage, guaranteeing victory by that point. Next is the Succubat preventing us from going to the upper echelon. She was so easy, I've put the fight in automatic and was looking at the real Charlotte sleeping. As usual, the Brimstone boys were only a waste of resources. so was the flying rotisserie. It was a 2-turn fight. Yes, I did encounter 2 King Metal Slimes on the way there. Why do you ask? Barbados was another easy fight, though kudos to him for lasting twice as long as the chicken. With this, I now have 15 chapters finished, meaning I now have access to A-rank monsters. First is Perla, learning Impactor and Paralyzer. Then Tanuki finally becomes a Tanuki. Next, we make Behemoth Black because black means better stats. Duh. Then Platypus remains a fat crowned platypus. Finally, we turn Fluffy into a fluffy winged doggo. Look, I know this one is a bit cheesy the way I synthesized it, so to compensate, I will take 2 points from Fluffy. Like the Brimstone Boys before, Maximus also is a waste of resources and time. Ruslas is next, and I felt like he was dealing a lot more damage than before, yet he has no bonuses against beast monsters. Still, it wasn't too hard. It did drain our MP and hurt, but there were no losses. Starkisma followed and 4 turns. Yes, that is what it took. Instead of explaining, here is the full fight. With this, I now have 17 chapters over, meaning this is the final rank unlock, and synthesis game. First, I made Perla the ultimate magician with perfect speller. Then I made Platypus pink, because pink is better than black, I guess. The Dark Priest Ammon is next, and to be frank, I expected better of him. I even brought Perla, knowing he used spell reflection, and yet she was my only loss in this attempt. I didn't even have the time to heal before the fight was over. Alright, look, I've given them many silly nicknames on my previous runs, but this was their worst performance yet. Here's a compilation of the 4 goobers. And finally, Dolph proves a somewhat difficult fight, pushing me to use a healer. I know, first time in this run, and from this eternal loser, even if he did Charlotte and Perla, only to get his ass handed to him on the next turn. are my party stats before the final fight. Phase 1 of the final fight goes well. No losses, Platypus as healer, Charlotte as physical damage dealer, and Perla as magical damage dealer. Knowing it would force me to use many resources, I had to use a bonus ball to level up and recover my MP after the fight. Phase 2 proved more difficult. As expected, yet I only suffer one loss. 2 if you count Perla having used all of her MP, forcing her back. My tactic was as follows: Platypus heal, Charlotte kick-ass, and Perla kick-ass with high spells. Eventually Charlotte fell and Perla used all of her MP. So I replaced them with Fluffy, Grinder Enjoyer, and Daitanuki. Once again, kick-ass was the tactic. Yeah, I actually had no tactic, just use whatever deals more damage until he dies. With this ends the Dragon Quest Monsters Dark Prince Beast Only run. As for my opinion, melee damage is fucking broken. Like, hell, I went from monsters who can barely deal damage past the enemy's defenses to destroying bosses by punching them in the face too hard with cats. But it was refreshing to finally deal melee damage, even if the run was very easy. I am thinking of creating a new rule for future challenges, maybe one that uses the whole tactical system so I don't just roll over enemies. With this, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this run, please remember to give a like, comment, and subscribe.